Hi there, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. As some people sort of filter in, we will keep admitting them. My name is Morgan Miller. I am one of the admissions advisors here at Niagara University, and I graduated from NU with my undergraduate degree and my master's degree. So I really love NU and I love being a part of the team here. We have a really great program set up for you today, and we are super excited for you to join us. So I just want to go over a few housekeeping things before I turn it over. The first part is I just want to remind you guys that this session is being recorded. I also want to ask everyone to just mute themselves when you're not speaking. And then at the end during our Q&A, please feel free to unmute yourself, just ask some questions. Also throughout the entire sort of presentation today and our sort of showcase, if you do have questions, please feel free to use the chat box, type them on in there, and then I'll be facilitating them at the end. Another thing that I really want to encourage our prospective students to do is please put your first and last name and the high school that you go to in our chat box. I want to make sure that you guys get credit for attending today, especially with our Eagle Experience Scholarship. And I want to make sure that I don't miss anyone. I know sometimes you guys do sign in through other Zooms, which is okay. Please just put your first and last name and the high school in the chat box. Well, without further ado, we're going to get started, and I'm going to hand it over to Kevin. Also to all of our panelists, please just introduce yourself as you guys are going through, give yourself a little background, maybe state when you graduated or if you're still at NU, just so the visitors here on today's showcase know sort of who you are. That's great. Thank you so much. And Kevin, take it away.
Great, thank you, Morgan. So I'm Professor Kevin Hinckley. I'm an assistant professor of political science and director of our pre-law advisement program. And I want to thank all of you for being here, students and families. I'm very glad to be with you today. And I'm delighted to be joined by 3 alumni panelists and 3 of our current pre-law students who we'll introduce in just a bit. To all of the high school students who are with us today, at the outset, I want to offer my congratulations on all that you have achieved so far. And I really want to applaud you for your perseverance, for your determination under enormously challenging circumstances. So we're all very grateful that you are here, that you are considering Niagara and interested in our pre-law program. So what you have achieved and what you are going to achieve, it really gives us hope. So with that, I want to introduce you to Niagara's pre-law advisement program. And I have a short presentation that I will try to share. Hopefully the technology cooperates. All right, so far so good, I think. Okay, so our pre-law advisement program is open to students in all majors. And the program is designed to help students navigate the path to law school and other legal careers. So during our brief time together today, I'd like to highlight 3 pillars of Niagara's pre-law program that set us apart from other colleges and universities, not only in Western New York, but nationwide. The first of these is one-on-one advisement. And this is really the centerpiece of the pre-law program. So starting when students arrive on campus for summer orientation, I meet regularly with our pre-law students to provide information, guidance, and advice. So the first step in the process is helping students decide whether law is the right choice for them. And it's a priority for me to help students learn about the various fields of law and career possibilities as a lawyer or in legal careers that don't require a law degree. For students who continue on the law school track, I serve as a resource and a guide through every step of the law school application process, from maximizing your score on the LSAT, the law school admission test, to writing effective law school admissions essays, and ultimately choosing a law school that will help you achieve your aspirations in the law. The second pillar I'd like to talk about, it comprises courses and internships. The quality and the breadth of law-related courses offered at Niagara University sets us apart from other colleges and universities in Western New York, and indeed, undergraduate programs of any size nationwide. In addition to our introductory course on American law, the Political Science Department offers courses in constitutional law, civil rights, civil liberties or First Amendment, healthcare law, mental health law, environmental law, and international law, among others. And departments across campus offer courses focusing on different areas of law and the legal system, including criminal law and trial advocacy, two courses that are taught by a distinguished New York State Supreme Court Justice, the Honorable Richard Clark, who one of our alumni panelists knows quite well. Other departments offer courses in business law, sports law, and philosophy of law. So as a student at Niagara, you get access to courses in various areas of law. You get to choose those that are of greatest interest so you can start to build your knowledge of law and the legal system. We offer a minor in law and jurisprudence, which again is open to students from all majors. And we strongly encourage students to complete a legal internship, which we help you to find. And in recent years, we've had students intern with state and federal judges, in district attorneys and attorney general's offices, with criminal defense attorneys, and in law firms across the state. The central goal is to ensure that Niagara pre-law students gain the legal skills, theoretical knowledge, and practical experience that they'll need to succeed in law school and beyond. One of the courses that I mentioned is constitutional law. This is a course I'm teaching this fall, and it's modeled on a first-year course at Harvard Law School. We study the Constitution itself. We start the semester reading the Constitution, and throughout the semester, we study opinions of the United States Supreme Court, interpreting the Constitution, deciding the constitutionality of federal treaties, state and federal laws, government regulations, and executive actions. So this is one of my favorite pictures of the Supreme Court building at 1 First Street in Northeast DC. The Supreme Court has been called the storm center of American politics because the court is called on sooner or later to address the most controversial and vexing issues that the nation faces. In constitutional law, students also learn about the Supreme Court justices who decide constitutional cases. So as the justices appear on the screen, pay close attention. I'll be giving a quiz on who the justices are. Hopefully you're able to name all 9 justices. So this is really a remarkable time to study constitutional law. And of course, the justice who is pictured at the bottom center of the screen, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a towering figure in the law, a women's rights advocate, a civil rights lawyer, a feminist icon, and a justice of the US Supreme Court who served for 27 years, passing away just last month. It feels like it's been much longer. So much has happened since then. So in studying constitutional law, you get to learn the ins and outs of the Supreme Court, the process for interpreting the Constitution, and the personalities, right? The justices who decide landmark cases. So I was just kidding about the quiz. The last pillar of the pre-law program that I'd like to highlight is the Pre-Law Student Association, which sponsors an extraordinary array of events throughout the year, including guest speakers, opportunities to meet and interact with lawyers and judges. Ordinarily, under ordinary circumstances, we go on trips. We visit law schools and legal conferences. So last fall, a group of 14 pre-law students, including 2 of the panelists who you'll get to hear from in just a few moments, went to the National Law School Forum in Boston, where they met with representatives from over 100 law schools from across the country. The trip also included a visit to Suffolk Law School in downtown Boston, where students sat in on a law school class, met with Chris Selak, another Niagara pre-law alumnus who's now in his 3rd year at Suffolk Law. We also toured my alma mater, Harvard Law School. This year, we have made the most of the extraordinary, unique situation that we're in. Being unable to travel in person to visit law schools or attend legal conferences, which unfortunately have been postponed, we have gone on virtual law school tours and participated in a digital law school forum, which you may hear some more about later on. Each spring, again, under ordinary circumstances, our students go to Washington, D.C. to attend oral arguments at the U.S. Supreme Court. And in recent years, we've been able to arrange behind-the-scenes tours of the court, lunches with Supreme Court advocates, and even a private meeting with one of the justices. Pre-law students who meet rigorous academic, professional, and ethical standards can earn induction into the International Legal Honor Society, Phi Delta Phi. So before I wrap up my introductory comments, I want to talk to you about outcomes. The pre-law program at Niagara has a proven track record of helping students earn admission to the best law schools in the country. Here I speak from personal experience. Not too many years ago, I was sitting where you are, figuring out where to go to college, and I chose Niagara, as Morgan did. The education I received as a pre-law student at Niagara opened doors that I had barely dreamed of. After Niagara, I went on to Harvard Law School. I clerked for a federal court of appeals judge. I worked at an international law firm in Washington, D.C. And in 2015, I returned to Niagara to serve as pre-law advisor and to teach in the departments of political science and criminal justice. Over the past 5 years, Niagara pre-law students have achieved remarkable results. And I'm thrilled that you'll get a chance to hear from 3 of our pre-law alumni, Matt, Rochelle, and Sarah, 3 of Niagara's very best, who are now excelling in law school. So as you can see on the slide, our recent graduates have earned admission to law schools at Northwestern, Notre Dame, Georgetown, Ohio State, William and Mary, Penn State, to name just a few. And we have strong pipelines to the premier law schools in New York, including the University of Buffalo, Syracuse, Albany, and others. Last year, we introduced a new accelerated bachelor's to JD 3+3 program that allows select students who meet the qualifications to earn their bachelor's and their JD, their law degree, in a total of 6 years instead of the traditional 7. And in offering this program, we partner with the law schools at the University of Buffalo and St. John's University in New York. And later on in the question and answer session, if any of you are interested in the 3+3 program, we can talk more about that. So on this last slide, I've provided my email address. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions that we're not able to address during our time together today. Thank you once again for joining us. I'm going to next ask our alumni panelists and then our current student panelists to introduce themselves, tell you a little bit about their backgrounds and what they have studied or are studying at Niagara, what their aspirations are in the law. But for now, I just want to thank you again for joining us. I very much hope that you'll decide to join Niagara's pre-law program next fall. All right, so that is my presentation, and I want to make sure that we have lots of time for you to hear from our current students, our alumni panelists, and time for your questions, right? We want to make sure this is a conversation and a dialogue. So at this point, I would ask each of our alumni panelists, starting with Matt Tobolski, to introduce yourselves, give a few words about where you're from, what brought you to Niagara, and to talk about your law school experience so far. And we'll start with Matt, then Rochelle, then Sarah.
Thanks, Kevin. That was great. So hi, everyone. It's good to see everyone virtually. My name is Matt Tobolski, and I graduated from Niagara in 2018. Currently, I am a third-year law student at Northwestern. So I am in downtown Chicago right now. So a little bit about where I'm from, how I got here. I am originally from Lancaster, New York, which is a suburb of Buffalo, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. And what brought me to Niagara for my undergrad studies, honestly, it really was the pre-law program. So when I was looking at different colleges and universities, I maybe I was unique in this respect, probably not to many of you that are in this chat, but I knew that I wanted to go to law school. I knew that was the ultimate goal, right? So I was looking at different pre-law programs at schools, and none were as rich or robust to what Niagara offered. A lot of schools had a student group and maybe like an intro to law class or some random constitutional law class. But Niagara had a dedicated advisement program, first of all, as Kevin mentioned already. And the breadth of classes was really remarkable to me. I took a class in environmental law, health law, mental health law, and there were so many more that I didn't even have the opportunity to take. So that was something that really drove me to attend Niagara. And I guess real quickly too, because Kevin mentioned it also, something that really stood out while I was at Niagara was the support I got from different professors in finding internship opportunities. And I think that was, obviously it's one piece of the puzzle when you're applying to law schools. And we can talk about that later, GPA, LSAT, your work experience, your writing sample, all that stuff matters, right? But having professors that were really were dedicated to making sure you were successful in what you wanted to do was helpful in every step along the way. And for me, I think it was really internships. I think I had 3, maybe 4 unique separate internships while I was at Niagara, and each one came from a professor letting me know that, hey, this opportunity sounds awesome. I think you'd be great for it. Or if I was looking for something one semester or one summer, I'd go to a professor and ask for assistance. And they took time out of their schedules to help me secure something. And I was really appreciative of that. And I really think it helped me get to the law school that I am at currently. So I guess briefly, because I don't want to take up too much time, about my time at law school so far. So law school is a stressful, busy experience, but I I've really enjoyed every single second of it. Despite being so busy, you're always studying, you're always have something on your plate, right? But it really is what I'm passionate about. And being at Niagara in the pre-law program, I was able to be sure of that before I made that investment and picked a law school, spent all that money going to law school, right? So I think that was super important to me. And I guess briefly, I'll be in New York City after graduation from law school at a large international law firm. And yeah, I just really want to stress, I really don't think with what I wanted to do with my career, what I saw myself doing, I owe so much to Niagara's pre-law program. So yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. I'm excited to answer some questions and hear from you all. Thanks.
Thanks, Matt. Rochelle?
Hi, everyone. My name is Rochelle Klock. I am from North Tonawanda, so I am a local girl. I graduated from Niagara in 2019. I specifically majored in criminal justice, and I also had minors in pre-law, computer crime, and forensics. Currently, I am a second-year law student at University at Buffalo School of Law. As for what brought me to Niagara, I was really actually drawn to the community feeling at Niagara. Administration and professors really care about the students. It's extremely important, and it's extremely apparent for that matter. If you have any kind of issues, whether it's personal or academic, your professors will always be there to help and to talk to you. Also, in general, the people are great. The first time I was ever on campus, I was walking through, I didn't know anybody, so I was scared, but I got several hellos. And that speaks volumes because that's what Niagara is all about. We are a family, and I always mention that. But also, as Matt indicated, the academics are great. They're outstanding, actually. So that was a driving factor for me. Specifically, the pre-law program is first class, if you ask me. I was also the same way. I knew that I was going into law school since probably middle school or high school. Professor Hinckley has indicated that I know one of the professors pretty well, and that's because Judge Klock is my father. So I knew that I was going into law, and the pre-law program at Niagara is absolutely amazing. And then I also want to talk a little bit about my personal experience at Niagara and some of the activities I was involved in, because those are really close to my heart. I was the captain of Niagara's mock trial team. I was president of the pre-law fraternity. I was also the secretary of NUSCA, which is the student government here at Niagara. I was captain of the cheerleading team in the honors program, a member of Niagara University's President Society, president of Sigma Alpha Sigma, and I was a member of Club Lacrosse and other honor societies. Now that's a lot. I was already like out of breath just saying it. But I tell you all of this because my life was crazy, especially senior year. And sometimes I couldn't take a breath. But I always tell everyone, get involved as you possibly can. Because first of all, you're going to meet tons of people. But second of all, it's going to build a wonderful foundation for you. It's going to teach you so much. It's going to teach you time management, first of all, which you're going to need if you want to go into law school or other, occupations. But also it just will give you confidence, which it definitely did, for me. So also, if you have any questions about any of those activities or any of those clubs, definitely reach out, ask me anything you want. I also would like to talk, obviously, about the pre-law program. I can confidently say that it prepared me for law school and many of the experiences that I'm going through now. The academics are great, as I mentioned. The curriculum and the substance of these classes are amazing. I may be a little biased, but the information you will be learning is extremely interesting. And I personally want to be a criminal defense attorney, and it really gave me a great foundation to accomplish that. Also, once again, the professors are great. Reach out to them. They're your resource. Don't turn a blind eye on that. They are always there to help you. I see my dad, I live with him, so I can see him getting prepared for class. I can see that he cares about his students, the things that he does for his students. You don't just get that anywhere. So make sure you reach out to your professors. And also there are a lot of opportunities that will be given to you through the pre-law program. I went on trips to Washington, D.C., and it was amazing. I got to see the Supreme Court. I got to see Supreme Court arguments, and still to this day, I reflect back on that experience. I also had opportunities in writing a senior thesis where Professor Hinckley was actually one of my panelists for my thesis, and it's actually just been published. So all of these opportunities, you don't just get anywhere. Thank you. But you don't just get these opportunities just anywhere, and it really builds you up to get confidence. Now, this brings me to the next point that I want to talk about. No matter where you want to go in life, what occupation you want to pursue, if you want to go to law school or if you don't want to go to law school, you're going to be asked to do uncomfortable things, sometimes things that you don't want to do. And that's okay, because that's life. But the pre-law program and Niagara University in general will get you prepared for that. It will give you the confidence for that. At UB, I am doing very well academically, but I'm also involved in the student government there. I'm involved in law review, and also I am a member of the trial team there. So it's funny, the background about all of those different activities is it's actually frowned upon to do all of them all together because of the workload. But me being me, I was like, I want to do the uncomfortable. Let's see what happens. What's the worst that's going to happen? I fall down and look horrible. I guess I'll just do it. But I would not be able to picture myself doing all of these things or doing so well in law school without Niagara, truthfully. I attribute a lot of the success to Niagara because they really got me prepared. And actually, to mention it, I just actually competed in a national trial competition. It went very well. UB made it to semifinals, which is the furthest we've ever made it in that particular competition. And obviously I was part of trial team at Niagara that prepared me, but also just the whole entire pre-law program really got me prepared for that, because it was an unsettling experience. Law school is an unsettling experience, but you will be prepared. I got a lot of opportunities because of this, and I know you will too. So if you have any questions, either specific or general, please just let me know. I would love to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Rochelle. Sarah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Wetzel. I graduated from Niagara University in May 2020. So I had the unconventional graduation ceremony, as I'm sure many of you had. I'm kind of the oddball panelist here because I actually went to Niagara University not knowing I wanted to go into law at all. I was dead set on being a theater major and becoming an actress. So it's been a very different path since then. Still love theater, but I found out about the Niagara pre-law program gradually, and I didn't really get involved with it until my junior year. So you're all already way ahead of me, but I absolutely loved my experience in it. It was incredible. The amount of help I got discovering whether or not I would like law and whether or not it was something that I could see myself going into, especially during a time when I discovered, okay, this career I thought I wanted to do since middle school, elementary school, I no longer want to do. And it was incredible to really have faculty kind of hold my hand through the process, but also encourage me to take risks. And I am so happy that I had opportunities to intern. I interned with Rochelle's father, Judge Clark. I got to go on the pre-law trip to Boston to the LSAC forum, which go on all those trips if you do end up at the program, because they are super informative. You get to talk to so many admissions representatives. You get to see so much. And I would say that I don't want to be too repetitive of some of the things the other panelists have already said, but there are so many great classes, so many classes that specifically prepare you for law school, which you don't really get to appreciate until you get to law school. I took Intro to Law with Professor Hinckley my junior year, and I am reading cases. I actually just read a case today that I remember from that class because it was basically a condensed version of all your 1L doctrinal classes into one undergraduate class. And it's just so cool, and it just makes you feel so confident to already have read a case going in that your friends that are sitting next to you have never heard of before. It's just a cool additional thing there. So I guess so far with my experience at law school, it's been fantastic to say the least. I currently am looking in the direction of international law, and I really like the idea of international arbitration. We have a lot of faculty involved with that. Notre Dame Law School is one of the most global law schools, and they're really pushing that brand to expand it. So we have a full year in London program where you can study up to a year of your law school career in London. Most people do 1 semester, but you can choose. We have internships that are paid for 1Ls in Ireland over the summer, and there's opportunities to go to Germany to study. So there's a bunch of opportunities that I'm just taking in and seeing if any of them are applicable. Of course, now with COVID, it is a little different, but we have had amazing presentations from different lawyers from around the nation, around the world. We've been able to talk to incredible faculty everywhere, and I am absolutely loving it. And if I can answer any questions like the other panelists, I'd be happy to.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you to all of our alumni panelists for taking time out of your schedules. Life as a law student is very, very hectic, so we really appreciate you being here, sharing your experience and your insights, and looking forward to seeing what questions any of the students and families might have. So now I'd like to invite our current students to introduce yourselves, where you're from, what you're majoring in, what are you doing at Niagara in terms of extracurriculars, and what has your experience been so far at the university and in our pre-law program. So why don't we start with Mairead?
Hi everyone, my name's Mairead. I'm a senior international studies major here at Niagara with a pre-law minor. So my story is actually really different. I transferred into Niagara. This isn't the school I started at. I started at a really small school in Ohio, and I wanted to get real far away. I'm from Albany, so it's an 8-hour drive, and then I decided that's way too far. So I had to reconsider everything, and I knew I wanted to go into law school, so I had to try to find a pre-law program, and Niagara happened to have one. My mom is also an alumni of Niagara, so that helped with that connection there as well. But that's how I ended up here. Currently, I am one of the presidents of the Pre-Law Association, and so things are different this year with COVID and everything, but we still try to do like virtual LSAC forums to get people involved with figuring out how to navigate this law school. Currently, I am also applying to law schools. I just got my second LSAT score back, so I'm using that score to apply different places. And Professor Hinckley has been extremely helpful trying to get through this messy process of getting your applications ready and all of that. So the faculty here, they are really helpful with all of that. But like Sarah said earlier, like the intro to law class is the first law school class I took here, and it was so helpful. It was like literally every type of law you could think of, you learned. And I am interested in criminal law is one of the aspects I'm interested in, and I learned that from that specific class, just taking a short little segment of criminal law there. So I do love the classes here, currently in environmental law as well, so learning a bit about that. But yeah, so if you have any other questions about Pre-Law Association or anything else, you can ask me later.
Great, thank you, Mairead. Casey.
Hi, my name is Casey. I'm a senior from Hudson, New York, so about like 6 hours from NU. I'm currently a double major in psychology and political science with minors in pre-law, gerontology, philosophy, and women and gender studies. So when I was originally looking at schools, I hadn't even heard of Niagara until they came to my high school, and it seemed good, but my goal was to go to Boston. So even after getting into BU and then going there, was way too big for me. I was definitely very intimidated by the amount of people in each class. So coming to NU, seeing how we did have a lot of small classes that you can ask your questions, everything like that, it seemed perfect for me. The moment you turn onto campus, you're already greeted by students, and then you are the entire time you're here. So I felt really welcome both times that I did visit. So after being here for 3 years, I still feel the same. In terms of the future, little unsure, especially now in times of COVID. So deciding where I want to end up, what I want to do, we'll see how that goes in the next few months. But being here at NU and being in the pre-law program, I never thought that like a career in law was possible. Like I always thought it was super interesting, definitely something I wanted to do, but I didn't see that as being possible until I took a course with Professor Hinckley, and it was just such a great course. He's so helpful, and the entire pre-law program is not only just Professor Hinckley as an advisor, but other students in the same situation and professors in different areas. It's just a really good environment to be in. So.
Great, thank you, Casey. Maren.
Hi, so I'm from Williamsville, New York, a suburb of Buffalo. Some of you may be familiar with that. And I kind of knew I wanted to go until I was like one of those kids that, I don't know, some type of odd fascination with it from a young age. But honestly, though, I was attracted to Niagara first. So I'm on the women's lacrosse team here. So I was first, my attention was drawn to the school because of athletics. And then from there, everything else just fell into place. The academic opportunities are great. The pre-law program is phenomenal. And what was really important for me as a student athlete coming in is that I wouldn't fall through the cracks. I wanted my academics to, because in reality, my academics are what's going to carry the rest of my career, not athletics. As much as I love it, that's just the reality of it. So, and with the pre-law program and how small NU is I love the class sizes because I'm able to actually get to know my professors, and I genuinely feel like my professors care about me. And especially Dr. Hinckley, he's been amazing. He's helped me so much, and I'm a very busy person as well. So I'm part of the honors program. I'm on the lacrosse team. I work in the Title IX office. I'm interning for the mayor of Niagara Falls. I'm a mentor in our Justice House program. So, and then a bunch of other little random stuff. So, but with that being said, yes, you learn excellent time management here. So, but I still feel like I'm up to date on everything. I don't feel like I'm falling behind. I don't feel like I'm drowning. And that's thanks a lot to like Dr. Hinckley and the other professors who helped me manage this and really like offer advice when I need it and are just very understanding. And I genuinely don't feel, I mean, I haven't gone to a bigger university, so who knows, but I genuinely feel like my experience would be different if I went to a larger university. And with the law program especially, I love the classes. They're like my favorite part of my course load. And my interest in law was solidified by going through this program. So if you're someone that like, yeah, you could have known before coming in, or you're kind of like so-so, it's a great program to get into because you can always get out of it. Like if you get here and you're in the pre-law program and it doesn't fit you, then it doesn't suit you. And there's no strings attached. You just find what does, and that's okay. And that's an awesome flexibility to have. So you're not going through college, you graduate, then you apply to law school, get in there, and then you realize, oh, I actually don't like law at all. Then that's a little bit of more of an issue, but yeah. So, I mean, so if you have any questions with managing all that stuff, or if any of you guys are prospective athletes and want to know what that is like in a law program and with academics and extracurriculars, just feel free to ask. But I genuinely mean it when I say I love the program and it's given me so many opportunities.
Well, thank you, Maren, and thank you to all of our student panelists for taking time out. Wonderful to have you here to share your experience and your perspective. So we really appreciate it. I think at this point, we will open it up to students, families. What are your questions about our program, about Niagara University? Here's your chance.
So we did have 2 quick questions that did come through. One of them was if you are interested in the 3+3, Do you indicate that on your admission application, or can you apply for that at a different time? And then her follow-up question to that was also, can you be in the 3+3 and the honors program at the same time?
Yeah, great.
A little bit of an insight to that?
Yeah, great questions. So in terms of applying, if you indicate pre-law on your application, that will make sure that you are on our list of incoming pre-law students, and specifically as a student interested in pursuing the 3+3 program, we will have our first meeting start to plan out how to make sure that you are on track for this accelerated path to law school from summer orientation. And all you need to do is mark pre-law on your application. In terms of the honors program, so in the majors that are currently approved for the 3+3 program, political science, criminal justice, international studies, and history, those accelerated curriculums have been designed to allow, as a junior in your third year, to work on an honors thesis, which is the capstone project for our honors program. So as Rochelle talked about, doing an honors thesis, having a chance to work with faculty on a year-long research project, that is really an incredible opportunity and something that is open, right, to our students in the honors program and to students who within their departments have met the highest academic standards. And I think all of our alumni panelists can speak to this experience. And Sarah, having done 2 honors theses, Matt doing an honors thesis focused on civil rights and the enforcement of civil rights under federal law. Really a wonderful opportunity. And I think all of our student panelists have already had a chance to really dig into research and work with faculty on significant research projects. So for students who are pursuing the 3+3 program, absolutely that opportunity is there for you.
Great, thank you, Kevin. Does anybody else have any questions? I don't see any more in the chat box, but if you have any, or if any of our speakers maybe has some questions that they thought about before they came to NU that they would like to maybe address, that would be awesome as well. I don't know if any of you guys have any questions about our admissions process, but you can also ask those here as well. I'd be happy to answer them. If you would like, you can use the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and speak if that is easier as well. So one thing that I will mention, just to sort of break the ice a little bit, is I know some of you who are on here have already started your application and applied, which is great. This event will count towards your Eagle Experience Scholarship. For those of you who don't know what that is, it is a new scholarship that we are running for incoming freshmen for the fall 2021 year. And you need to complete 3 pieces for that. So the first is to apply by November 15th. Now that just means to have your application in. It does not need to be complete. We know some of your counselors at high schools are still trying to get together your transcripts. So even if we don't have those by the 15th, that's totally fine as long as we do have your application. The second is to attend an event. So this event will count towards that. Also too, if you've attended previous events, that will count as well. And then the third is to connect with your admissions advisor. So somebody just like myself. And if you don't know who that is, that's totally fine. I will leave my information in the chat box so you can feel free to reach out to me. I also put Kevin's information in there as well. And so you can reach out to him too. And then he can always pass along your questions to me if they have anything to do with admissions. So as long as you complete those 3 pieces, you will automatically be qualified for and awarded our Eagle Experience Scholarship.
So while our attendees are thinking of questions or maybe typing them out in the chat, I really like the question that Morgan posed for our alumni and student panelists. What do you wish you had known? What did you discover in your college experience that you wish you had known going in? Or maybe another way to think about it or to frame it, what lesson or advice would you have for students who are now as high school seniors thinking about choosing a college? And we can open this up, whoever wants to jump in.
I have one. So this kind of goes off of me talking about being busy and so on. So a question I had coming in was this something that I could handle? What really is the workload like being part of the pre-law association? And am I required to be like extremely involved if I can't or don't really want to be? And so the answer to that is, as far as the club goes, you can basically be as involved as you want to be. So for me, because in my schedule, like I can't do things like go on the big trips and whatnot, but that doesn't mean I'm not part of the club. Like I go to interesting speakers that are there. I'm like a half member, so to speak. There's like an option for that. It's like be a half member, be a full member, and so on. And then the classes are what you would expect of any other advanced kind of class. Like there is like going to be workload, but it's not like you're adding on an additional class out of nowhere. It takes the place of one of your classes in your schedule. But as far as the pre-law association goes, you can basically, like they'll give you all these options, all these opportunities, and you can pick and choose what you want to do, and you can do what you can do. So.
Rochelle?
Yeah, so I do have an addition. So you posed a question as to how to pick a college, or how do you come about, deciding exactly where you want to go. So I just got an idea in my head to probably tell you about the story of how I really came to Niagara. So I thought I was a big university type of girl, to be honest. I wanted to go to Florida State. I wanted to go to UB, something really big, right? So Niagara was on my list only because of the pre-law program. And I was like, it's a really small school. I don't know if I want to do that, right? My advice to you is to attend as many events as you can. I know that it's difficult in this time with COVID, but really get a sense of what the university is all about or what other colleges are all about, because I am confident you will see a difference, because I did. When I was trying to decide where I was going to go, I actually got an interview before my freshman year, and I went in. They knew who I was. They treated me like family. They treated me so well. It was almost odd to me. I was like, why do these people care so much about me? So really, really just throw yourself into the events. Talk to people, talk to alumni, talk to the students, the professors, and see what they're like, because truthfully, there's something different about Niagara. I always joke that there's something in the air, but I swear everybody will agree with me. So just throw yourself into it, immerse yourself with the atmosphere, and I think that'll be much easier for everyone to decide exactly what they want to do, and to figure everything out with Niagara.
Great advice. Great advice. Other panelists with a lesson or a surprise, what you wish you had known?
I have one that kind of ties in with both pre-law and the law school admissions process. So I know it's a bit early to be thinking about that, but I just want to emphasize that Niagara really has the perfect balance for the pre-law program. Going into undergrad, I always was like, well, would it be better if I was a pre-law major, or would it be better if I consistently was taking law only in undergrad? And it turns out that a lot of law schools really value diversity in your undergraduate experience. I have classmates who never taken any law classes before they came here. In fact, the vast majority have not. And I think that that is why it is so great to have a program like Niagara's, because since it's a minor, you get the exposure to law, so you know that you like it. Like all the other panelists said, you get to have the intro to law class, where I already came into all my 1L classes. I already had a background in criminal law. I already had a background in torts. I already had a background in contracts. And this was all just from the small one class I took with Professor Hinckley. And I think it's just incredible to have that, but then also get to explore other areas. I was also a psychology major, so I got to look into a lot of other topics there. And I just can't stress enough that it's really valuable, really, really valuable to be able to not only learn law in undergrad, but be able to have the full academic experience.
That's a great point. Thank you, Sarah, because that's a question that I sometimes get. Well, do you have a pre-law major? We do not, and that is by design, right? Because the goal is for you to have a well-rounded, broad-based undergraduate education where within your major field of study, whether it's criminal justice, political science, international studies, psychology, sociology, business, sports management, you get to decide. And then you get all of the benefits of being part of our pre-law program, the one-on-one advisement, access to courses, the law and jurisprudence minor, legal internships, and all of the activities and events and programs that happen outside the classroom through the Pre-Law Association, through Phi Delta Phi, our Legal Honor Society. So Sarah wonderfully summarized exactly why the goal is not to focus exclusively 100% on law in college. That's what law school is for. And that's what Sarah and Rochelle and Matt are immersed in now, the law school experience. So questions, any questions from students, parents who might be joining us?
You guys are a quiet group, which is okay. Maybe you guys just did such a great job answering everything. I will ask that if any of our panelists, current students and alum, if you guys are okay with having maybe some prospective students reach out to you, if you wouldn't mind dropping your contact information in the chat box, just so they have it. If not, that's totally okay too. We know that you guys are really busy, so but I always like to ask and just sort of see. And if anybody has any last minute questions, or maybe let's say you guys think of something later on that you maybe didn't think of right now, you can always feel free to reach out. If you maybe didn't catch somebody's information, you can reach out just to admissions, and I'll be sure to get you in contact with the correct people. But please feel free to look at who is sending their information in there. Please write it down, and please utilize anybody who is within this panel and on this showcase, because they all have different experiences here at NU, and we all can give a little bit of a different story that we have and really help you guys as well. And also too, I always say this, don't be afraid to reach out maybe to somebody who's in this chat, even if maybe NU isn't your school of choice, because we're also here to help you too. We want you guys to succeed, and like we have had one of our current students, they did transfer in. So sometimes we have students who want that big school feel, and maybe they get there and they're like, all right, this isn't for me, so NU would have been my choice. It's always nice to have those contacts here as well.
Yes, yes. So you have my email address, and I would encourage you, if you have any questions, or if I can be of help to you in any way as you make this decision, please don't hesitate to reach out. We need good lawyers, like our alumni panelists, like the aspiring lawyers who you've had a chance to hear from today. So just as a professional obligation, as a member of the bar, anytime that I can help an aspiring law student, an aspiring lawyer, I'm happy to do it. So perhaps before we wrap up, as the senior member of our panel, a third-year law student preparing to enter the legal profession, Matt, do you want to offer a concluding thought or words of wisdom for our current students or students who are thinking now about where to attend college?
Yeah, so I think one thing, I mean, I don't want to belabor the point too much because I think some people mentioned it, but you really do have a lot of resources. Professor Hinckley is an incredible one. So really make sure you're utilizing those because it will really help you with your professional goals, get in the law school you want to go to, and even beyond that, right? So yeah, so stay in touch, and I'm happy to answer any other questions if any of the current students or anyone has any more.
Great. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Rochelle. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Mairead, Casey, Marin, and thank you to all of the attendees for taking time to be with us today. And I think we'll end there. Morgan?
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for everybody who joined us tonight. And thank you for putting on such an amazing showcase. I've done a lot of these, but this one was definitely a lot more interactive than some of our other ones. And to our alum, we can't thank you enough for coming and utilizing your time and talking with prospective students, because sometimes it's nice to hear from current students, but it's also nice to hear from alum who went through the programs and are now succeeding outside elsewhere as well. So thank you so much, guys, and everyone have a great rest of your night.
Thank you.
Thank you.